Good afternoon. It is Dr. Wood, and I am doing a check-in. Had a meeting a little earlier, so I didn't come on at, was it 12:25? Would have been our 24-hour or 48 hours actually. And what time is it right now? Oh, let's see. What do we got? Trying to get my right at 1 o'clock. And so, little over 48 hours, maybe 48 hours and 20 minutes, 30 minutes actually. And wow. And I know many of you out there, and you have been following, you are with us right now, you have been fasting, or you have finished the fast, or some people who have decided that today was going to be their fast day. We've kind of recommended, suggested a 24-hour fast as a start once a week. And I am in actually just turned day number 3, turned into the third day, not day 3 yet, not a full 3 days, but a little over 48 hours of this week's fast, and just excited that I'm able to come and hang out with you. So if you've been there, if you've already done your fast, and I know some people said they finished their 24-hour fast. I think one person said that they were going to start their fast today, which would give them a 24-hour fast into tomorrow, and someone is finishing their fast today. So just excited that we are able to do this together. I mean, we talked about fasting as that amazing tool that we can use to right the metabolism as part of the health action plan. Part of the first tier, along with walking. And actually, I was on my way out of the office right now to go walk after my meeting, and then realized that I had some patients who were who were starting to come in, so didn't want to have them delayed. So decided I would come on anyway and do just a little check-in. Hey, Cornelia, I see you out there. Check in for a little while, and so make sure that you join us for our check-in this evening. We'll go live at 9 p.m. Central this evening for our, basically it'll be a 52-hour, I think, right? So it'll be about a 56-hour check-in when we do our show this evening. And then, of course, make sure you join us tomorrow for our complete review of fasting. How do we start a fast? How do we get into a fast? And then, of course, how do we complete the fast? One of the things that I love, let me bring this a little closer, and I'm in my conference room here in my office, by the way. So one of the things I love is the engagement for the community. Those of you who are fasting, there's so much that's going on the channel right now. We've got our strength, strategy, and mindset. We've got our series that we're doing in the morning. So we are on day number 19 today, day 20 coming up tomorrow. Can you believe it that we're already almost 3 weeks into this? And I'm actually enjoying that series. The reason I'm enjoying that series is because there are so many life applications that come from just being in the space where we are doing what we need to do for our health. And so I've enjoyed that process of just walking through that and being on the heels of the 100-day walk to consistency that we had. So developing those habits, and now being consistent here. And so we're going to keep going with that. Anyway, I'm enjoying that series. If you've not joined us, go ahead and do that. It is the second arm of our move campaign, right? Walking and strength training. And the move, right? If you've not heard it yet, it's metabolic optimization via exercise, MOVE, right? I couldn't find a word for via. It's actually metabolic optimization by exercising, but I couldn't do like Mobi. I guess I could do Mobi, but move sounded better, right? So metabolic optimization via exercise, and that's what that is. So those are the two of the arms of that. But here in the fasting space, right? So walking, part of the move, and then fasting two of the components of tier one. And when I say tier one, these are the simple, low hanging fruit things that we can do. Now, if you're out there, you're like, man, you're talking about fasting being a low hanging fruit. And the reason I consider it a low hanging fruit is because it doesn't cost anything, right? Low cost. It is a decision that we make, personal decision. It doesn't take anything else from anybody else. It is a personal choice that we're making. It is not that we have to go get anything. We're actually abstaining from things. And it is a beautiful way to hit all of the parameters when we talk about improving our metabolism and, of course, reversing our diabetes. It also is an amazing way to begin looking at our mindset, because there are so many things that fasting teaches us, not just about metabolism, not just about our bodies and how the body functions, but also a lot of things in our minds. And I know one of our community members is out there right now who's been having some amazing benefits from the fasting space and from all the things that we're doing as we move through the Health Action Plan. And remember, the Health Action Plan is the functional arm, the health functional arm for limitless living. And it says, okay, these are the steps, these are the things, these are the practical steps that you take. If you're interested in applying limitless living to your health, this is what you do. Okay? You'll see, we'll come back and we'll talk about some other spaces, but right now, the Health Action Plan is this is the blueprint. This is what we do. This is how we do it. This is what we put up, and this is how, if we follow that, that gives us that motion, the movement in that direction. And it's a plan. It's a philosophy. The limitless living is a philosophy, and it is the basis. It is what drives everything. Like in our office, we have, and actually, oh yeah, here it is. In our office, so every day, every time we have our team meeting, this is the Diabetes and Endocrine Wellness Center. This is our mission statement, our goal, and our core values, right? So this is what it is, right? Our practice exists to evaluate and treat patients with endocrine disorders. We desire to positively impact our health and quality of life of our customers. Our practice will be the premier endocrinology practice in North Alabama for results and customer satisfaction. We will use innovative technology to help our customers reach their goals. Our team members are valued and empowered to deliver efficient, caring, and compassionate service at each encounter, right? So when we evaluate the things that we want to do, so that's our North Star statement. That's where we say we're going. That's who we say we want to be. And then now our question is, so that's the rhythm. So the alignment is, are the things we do they line up? Do they align with the things we say we are? And so limitless living says, I am not allowing anything from outside or anything from inside to prevent me from doing what I need to do. I'm presenting my best self, my best health, and my best plans for my life. So that's the North Star statement. So now the question becomes, are the things I do aligned with that? Are they aligned with that? And one of the points I was making to someone recently about when we talked about the domains of health, the domains of health fit right into limitless living, because it says that there are these things, these spokes in the wheel that I've got to look at, and I've got to evaluate to see, is this area working? Is that area working? And I say, you may have remembered when we did the Bridge to Mastery, there was one of those, I forgot which episode it was, where it really hit me like a brick, because I, at that moment, realized that there was something that I had intentionally, subconsciously, whatever, ignored, right? Because it was too painful to look at. And that area, or that particular thing, drove a lot of my behavior, a lot of my buffering. And so if I'm going to be successful and continue to be successful, if I'm going to be successful in all areas of my life, I can't ignore that. It has to be addressed. And so that is the reason why the domains of health are so important. And then now that I've addressed that, now, okay, what is the plan for, in this case, what is the plan for my health? What do I do? How do I move into that space? And how do I set myself up for the best possibility of success? That's the health action plan. And a big component of that, of course, is here as we're fasting. I'm excited. I have not actually, to be honest, I have not looked to see what my blood sugar is today. I know it's less than 100, if I remember correctly. When we did our check-in yesterday, my ketones were 0.3, right? We want those to be to go up as well. And my weight was 188 or thereabouts. Okay. So at the beginning of the fast, I think I started at 190. 188 yesterday. We'll see what it is today. And so as we're talking about fasting and metabolism, right, remember that all of those things, blood sugar improvement, weight going down, um, these are simply, or not simple, but they are simply side effects of the process that we're going through. They're side effects. And they're not even the main component of what we're doing, right? They're side effects. And if those are the side effects, I want you to think about that. If those benefits are simply side effects, imagine what happens if we fully implement the health action plan, right? If we implement fasting, if we implement the walking, the strength training that we'll get to when we get to that component, right? So remember, we're building a house. Remember, we talked about the health action plan being like building a house, and these are the pillars that are keeping the house up. And so that, for me, is so exciting because I'm seeing the benefits in real time, and I hope that you are keeping up and you're paying attention because I don't want this to be. Well, let me tell you what I want. I don't tell you what I don't want. When you think about yourself and you think about your health and you think about someone else in your family, and they say to you, hey, does the Limitless Living Action Plan work? Does Limitless Living work? The domains of health, does it work? I want you to be able to say, hey, I know somebody. Not somebody out there, but I know somebody, me. And when I say me, not me, but you. I know somebody who did it. And this is the benefit that I'm getting. So I want you to embrace this. I don't want this to be a fad. I don't want this to be something that you did yesterday or did last week or you remember that one time when we did such and such. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for you to be all in. I'm looking for you to buy in to this way of life that allows you the freedom and the flexibility to do what you need to do to be successful, right? So this is not, okay, let's do this today and we're going to put it on the shelf and we're going to do it next week, right? I'm telling you, for me, it is affecting every aspect of my life. In fact, it comes out of every aspect of my life. I was talking to someone recently and they were asking me about the transformation. And, if you've been following, you know that for a long time, there has been, for me, a life of insecurity. There's been a life of lack of self-efficacy, locus of control that was outside of me that I put out there. There was a difficulty in really assessing the things that were causing me to be dysfunctional. There was addiction, there was depression. All of that informs what I do now. Because the things that people tell me, I've been there. I've lived through the shame. I've lived through the doubt. I've lived through the obesity. Okay? So when I talk to people now and they ask me, like someone in the office says, hey doc, how much weight have you lost? Okay? Um, I'm excited because first of all they know that I lost weight, right? And but it's obvious if you saw pictures of me before, it's not a subtle thing, right? I've lost a whole person, right? So I'm down about 100 pounds. So I've lost an entire other person, and to have come through that space, they said, well, what happened? And kind of going through the history of this space, and this is why I'm so passionate when I'm here. I'm not gonna say, I'm not gonna say that YouTube saved my life. What I am gonna say is when I showed up in this space, at the start of that journey, I was so evolving. I had not yet reached the space that I am now, obviously. But being in this space has allowed me to see and to really challenge myself. You know, we started with building a new version of yourself. We moved to the art of letting go. We moved to I forgot the series, but I did not forgot the series. But we did last year. We did New Year, New You, and that all evolved. But it was the process of really digging in and learning, and deciding, okay, what was my life going to be? Which is why I talk to people about the North Star statement. That is not an insignificant thing. Fasting, it's not an insignificant thing. You're making a decision that you're taking charge of your health. When you fast, this is not, okay, I'm just not going to eat. That takes some energy, it takes growth. And growth doesn't happen once you've been fasting. Your expansion happens once you've been fasting. But growth happens when you decide that I am going to fast. Yeah, most people think that it's after they've made the decision. The growth, the expansion, the mindset change, the vision that has to happen prior to you making that decision, that takes a lot of energy, it takes growth. Once you've stepped across the line, once you've made the decision, now we're just expanding on what we've already decided we're going to do. And so for me, being in this space has been a tremendous push, a tremendous boost, because the expansion that I now feel, is propelled with the decision that I made years ago. That I could not stay where I was. I didn't know where it was going to go. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what was going to be downstream. But I knew in that time, in that moment, that I couldn't breathe. And that's a reference to the story about being under the raft, right? Couldn't breathe. And it seemed like when I made that decision, um, that things just really opened up. And that was on the heels of all the other things that were happening with me, right? So there's just been a storm of change and connection and neuroplasticity and growth and mindset change, just a storm within my head and within me. And so when I hear people talk about the connections that they're making and the growth that they're having and the excitement about being in a new space, and uh, it just is so much. It's like trying to drink from a water fountain. The amount, in a good way, the amount of change that can happen. Okay, and I'm gonna be the first one to jump in and say that even in growth, understand that you are working and you are walking for consistency, and you're walking for progress. So there's not going to be perfect. It's going to be rocky. It's going to be bumpy. It's going to take one step forward, two steps back. You're going to start fasting, and you're going to get 16 hours into the fast. And you're going to break the fast for some reason. Last night we talked about cravings, right? So you're going to get into the fast, and something's going to push your button, and you're going to eat something, and you're like, oh my goodness, look at what I just did. Guess what? that is not a failure. What do? You continue. Say, okay, I'm 16 hours in. I just ate that piece of cheese. Okay, I'm from right now. I'm going to start back into the fast. I'm continuing, and I would recommend going to the same length of time. In other words, if you say you're gonna go for 48 hours, and you eat something at 24 hours, don't start over for another 48 hours. Just from that point, continue to 48 hours and be done. Right? So fasting is not a punishment. It's not because you broke the fast or you got off the fast or you did something to get out of the fast that okay, now I'm going to punish myself by going another. Can you imagine? Right? So I'm fasting for 72 hours and at 71 hours something happens and I break the fast. And I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to start over for 72 hours? No, 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 no. Okay? So it's not a punishment. It is a decision. It's a conscious decision that I'm making, and I understand if that happens. Like last week, I think it was last week, where I was cooking and I ate, right, or tasted the food, and I didn't extend the fast. I just started back from where I was, and that's the beauty of this. You're not penalizing yourself. We're putting a structure in place, and the structure helps us to manage our rhythm and our alignment. Rhythm, alignment, and structure. That is the if the health action plan is the health functional arm for limitless living, then rhythm, alignment, and structure is the gears. Those are the gears for limitless living. Rhythm, alignment, and structure, because that tells us what's our North Star statement. Are the things I do consistent with the North Star statement? And do I have things in place that helps me not rely on me personally, not rely on my motivation, but things that are in place that says, okay, this is how it's going to be. And we just go that way. All right. Well, if you, like I said, if you're out there and you are fasting right now, if you are fasting, go ahead and say yes. And I am fasting. I'm going to raise my hand and say I'm fasting right now 48, a little over 48 hours into this fast. We've got another 24 hours to go for our 72 hours for tomorrow. And just excited. I've got a friend who just texted me and said he's in town, and so he's gonna want to get together. And so I'm gonna tell him that you got to get together tomorrow after my fast. No, I'm just just playing. I'm just playing. So yeah, he's in town. We're getting together, and we're gonna do it, right? So I've got some graduations that are coming up this weekend. Um, I've got a cousin who's graduating, um, just across the state line. I've got a cousin who's graduating here. I've got some nieces and nephews who are graduating, some friends. This is just gonna be exciting. So one of the things I love about where I live. And so I live in Huntsville, Alabama. So one of the things I love about this is where I went to college. This is where I went to school, right? So our university is here. And so classmates who come for homecoming, classmates who come for graduation, people who come to drop off their children, classmates of mine, people who now are coming to drop off, um, and I'm old enough, by the way, for people to be bringing grandchildren, right? They bring in nieces and nephews, and so I get to see. I'm here, and I get to see those people, and it's a great place to be because I get to see how people have changed over time. We get to reconnect. There's some people that I saw this past homecoming that we call it alumni weekend that I hadn't seen for a long time, and it was good to see them. And then some people that I grew up with. I mean, these are people that I've known since I was 10 years old. And we've been together. We've gone to school together. We've been to church together. One of my friends who was a college roommate of mine, who I knew since I was 9 years old. Right, one of my other friends who same thing, known him for a long time. We went to high school together. We went to college together. We went to the same graduate school together. And just fun. And that is a part of that we talked about, social/relational domain of health. That right there is amazing for me. this week, I actually did something interesting. So there, so I am growing. I'm growing my social connections. I'm growing my relationships. And I reached out to an older gentleman here in town and said, "Hey, I'd love to get together." We went to lunch. We chatted. So it was an initial thought, initial talk, initial venture into just expanding my connections, expanding my relationships, expanding. And he's an older gentleman, so to just to have some wisdom around me, right? So people who that I can connect with, who speak into me, I speak into them, and we can just kick it, right? So some guys, because women, right? I'm gonna say it. I know I'm generalizing, but my female friends, my wife and her friends, I mean they do stuff. They hang out. They do stuff together. Guys, we tend not to do that. We're kind of loners. And Limitless Living says, okay, you can't be a loner. I don't know if you got that from Limitless Living, but yeah, you're not gonna be a loner, right? So you don't have to like you don't have to be the life of the party in the midst of everything, but yeah, you got to have some connections. um, yeah, Cornelia, yeah, it does. She says it sounds like a really fun weekend ahead. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to it. Actually, I'm gonna be doing some cooking tomorrow. Um, After I break my fast, because if I do it before, that's gonna be something, right? All right, so we are like I said, a little over 48 hours into this week's fast. This is a great place for you to jump in. If you have been thinking about it, you didn't fast the first day, you didn't fast the second day. We're into our third day now, and this is a great time to come on in and let's do it together. Come on tonight as we do our check-in. It'll be 56 hours at our check-in tonight. Tomorrow we'll do our complete review of fasting, getting into a fast, getting through a fast, and breaking a fast. And then, of course, we'll be back over the weekend with our video from the vault, and then, of course, this week in review on Sunday morning and Dwain Woode MD live as we continue walking through the health action plan. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I see you guys out there. Thumbs up to everybody. Like I said, join me in the fast. It's nothing like doing it together. It's nothing like doing it together. I'm going to try. So, like I said, I had a meeting, and so that pulled me away. I guess I could have walked anyway, right? So I'm here talking to you. See that? Like I could have gone out and I could have done my walk, but I'm going to do that a little later, um, and um, and then we'll be ready for tonight as we do our check-in at 56 hours, yeah, roughly 56 hours. But join us anyway. Come on through. Let us know where you are. All right, everybody. Have a great one. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you later. This is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. We're educating, empowering, and encouraging you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're living a limitless life that says that we are doing everything we can to be successful. Have a good one. Bye bye.